And so, first off, my name is Lisa Swanson. In case you don't know who I am yet, I am the owner of Body and Soul Coaching and founder of my Fit After 50 online coaching programs. I work with women who are over 50 who are looking to reclaim their waistline as well as improve their energy so that they can bring more joy and happiness into their lives well after being 50. Now, I am here today with Jennifer Sutton. Jennifer Sutton, who's an MBA, is the creator of multiple leading edge programs focused on combining mindset work, brain training, very interesting, and tapping to help individuals and organizations reach their highest potential. She's a certified infinite possibilities trainer, longtime EFT tapping practitioner, and founder of the results-oriented inquiry, or ROI, process. The Safely You, did I say that correctly?
Safely You. Mm-hmm.
Safely You series, the
self-defense
and Happy Landings program, and Quantum Shift What If cards. So Jennifer's mission is to help people feel strong and purposeful, being who they are now, becoming who they most want to be, and doing what they most want to do. Jennifer supports individuals and groups as they release physical and emotional blocks that are keeping them stuck, and teaches them to ask new questions that help them move forward toward new solutions, more peace, greater self-confidence, and more joy. I love, Jennifer, that you say with greater self-confidence and more joy, because whenever I am trying to connect to my inner peace, the words that always come to me are confidence and joy. And I always talk about if you look back on videos that I've done on my page, I actually had one that talks about why I do what I do. And it was all about, because I really want to help women discover inner peace and joy and confidence. And I do it through fitness and nutrition. So there's a real connection here, I feel, with what Jennifer does in her work. So, Jennifer, let's move on. Let's go on to why you do what you do. And I know you mentioned EFT, and maybe we can start there with explaining a little bit what EFT is and how does it actually work?
Yeah, so what have you done with EFT before, or heard of it? Have you heard of tapping? Where are you in the continuum of awareness of it?
Okay, that's a great question. I don't know, as far as people who are watching, what you have done with EFT. I'm familiar with very short 5-minute EFT tapping session, for lack of a better word, that I've seen where they're just saying, okay, tap over here, tap down here, tap here, tap here, tap, that just, and while you're tapping, you're saying a statement, whether you're trying to get rid of a limiting belief or you're saying a statement where you're trying to bring a new positive belief into you. I just don't understand how tapping on these different parts are supposed to make these changes happen.
Right. Okay, well, good. So at least you have a general idea of what it is. And EFT is a really, actually, incredibly powerful tool. And I've been using it for almost, I guess, about 15 years now. Well, maybe like 12. But it completely changed my life, completely from being I've always been outgoing with people that I know, but I was never somebody who would be on an interview like this. It would have terrified me, and I would have thought I had nothing to offer. So I would be like, why would somebody want to interview me? What would I say? But now I understand that we each have a whole lot to say that can help other people. It's really, for me, I used EFT at first to get over my I'm not good enough, and then to get into who am I and what do I want to be, and now just tapping for success into that, to just keep staying in my heart and keep moving toward what it is that is my best gift to the world and what I have most fun doing. So EFT is a process of tapping on meridian points that opens up how your brain works, and also it calms your nervous system.
Wow.
So people who are stressed out, people who have made too many decisions during the day for weight loss, the reason why it's really helpful is for 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night,
Yes.
when you're at, decision overload, you've killed your willpower, because you've had to make too many decisions during the day and you've got nothing left. So that's when it's time that you think, oh, it would be so nice just to go have something, that isn't toward my goals.
Right.
And so tapping helps you get back down to a place of peace and power, and being able to get back to basically ground zero in your decision making for the day. Or I don't know if that's how you've referred to it in the past, but that's how I've found my own patterns, is that later at night, after, I'm just done. I don't have the energy to fight my desires anymore.
Right. I've talked with people about that. And if you're in my group, especially, we talked about that inability to be able to make decisions. I always tell people you only have a finite amount of decision making per day. It's like you have, okay, here's your decision making, bang. And if you use that up, and not just using it up with weight loss decisions, but, what am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to wear today?
Exactly.
I have a report I'm giving today. What am I going to write in this report that I'm creating? All these decisions, you're using up that bank, and at the end of the day, that's why you're like, F it, I'm going to eat ice cream. I'm going to relax. I don't want to think about anything. I just want to do. So I can understand that. I don't understand. And okay, so you're working on meridians. So I have two questions for you. One is, what does EFT stand for? And two is, so how does tapping on meridians help to clear the slate, so to speak, so that you now are able to make decisions?
Okay, yeah. So EFT stands for the Emotional Freedom Technique, and it was founded or created by Gary Craig, and he is still out there teaching. But the best site now, he actually gave away all his stuff and went into retirement a while ago, and then he came back with a new process. So all of his original work is now at EFTuniverse.com, and they've done a lot of science, double-blind studies and things like that to prove EFT, so that people can actually go down to that site and see what has been proven to be helpful with. And it also has thousands, literally, of anecdotal stories from practitioners saying this is what we tapped on and this is how it worked. So just reading through some of those on weight loss is incredibly helpful. And literally just reading them helps. But then if you start tapping, it makes an even bigger difference. So the second question was,
the second question was, how does tapping sort of restore your bank of decision making?
Okay, what it does is it helps you settle your nervous system. All day long, your cortisol levels are going up, your stress hormones are going up, and your brain starts to, get too much in it by the end of the day. So what it does is it just completely can take you back to a place of peace, and that place of peace, meditation can do something similar, but more in a mental way rather than in an integrated mind-body way. That's what I love about EFT, is that it connects the nervous system with the brain very quickly and easily. So there are all sorts of different practices that can do it, but I chose EFT because it resonated with me, and it served me really well for all of these years. So it's a very simple process. Would you like to try it now, or?
I would love to try it. I would definitely love to try it.
Okay, so at the end of the day, what is it that you feel? So we're just going to simulate an end of the day tapping. What is it that is your usual either go-to food that you don't want to be your go-to food, or how are you usually feeling toward the end of the day?
Okay, let's say, I'm sweets. Gonna tell everybody right now, I love my sweets, And
Uh-huh.
if I allowed myself to, I could have a bowl of mints and go through the entire bowl of, not mints, say like butterscotch hard candies. I could go through the whole bowl.
Uh-huh.
Easy. I
I
could
can
go
do
through the
that
whole bowl.
too. I get it. Um, so a few years ago, I had a woman who every day for like the last 20 years, at a certain time of day, she and her husband would be watching TV, and there would be a bowl of candies on the table, or the counter behind her, and she would get up and she'd go eat them, and then she'd bring them over to her husband, and that was like their thing they did together.
Right.
And we tapped in a group session to switch that to a bowl of oranges. That's what she chose. And a week later, she came back to the group session and she's like, I can't even stand the candy now. So,
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
now she's, yeah. So I thought, wow, that was really cool because it was just a 15-minute tapping with her. It wasn't even an in-depth, hour session or 2-hour session to clear all the old stuff, whatever. It was literally just changing her taste. And
Wow.
it made all the difference. Yeah, because she'd been fighting it for years. And she finally just, we reprogrammed her nervous system to desire the juicy, bright orange, flavorful thing.
Right.
Yeah, and it made all the difference. So let's just try it as if you're attracted to the sweets right now.
Okay.
It's not going to be as obvious as far as the impact because we're imagining it.
Right.
But if you were to just go into your body and say, just tell your body you're pretending. I'm pretending it's 9 o'clock tonight and I really want that thing of mints. Ask your body where you feel it the most. Where do you feel that desire for the mints the most?
My mouth.
Your mouth. Okay. All right.
Flavor. Yeah.
Flavors right there. It's the immediate gratification.
Yes.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, how bad would you want those mints?
Let's see. Oh, at night, I'm going to say an 8.
An 8. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I love
All right, so we're going to start by tapping on the outside of our hand, and this is the fatty part, not the other side, the fatty part at the bottom of your pinky. And you're just going to say, even though I want those mints at a level 8, repeat after me.
Even though I want those mints at a level 8.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I'm pretty cool.
I'm pretty cool.
Even though I always want those mints.
Even though, I'm going to change it to even though I always want those hard candies.
Even though I have tried so hard to not want those candies.
Even though I've tried so hard to not want those candies.
To do all of my strategies to not crave them.
To do all of my strategies to not crave them.
Or make them not here so that I can't have them.
Or make them not here so that I cannot have them.
Sure that that's one of your strategies, right?
Yes.
If it's not in the house, you can't have it unless you drive. I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
For not being able to get rid of this craving.
For not being able to get rid of this craving.
And for everything else that has ever slowed me down from my dreams.
And from everything else that has slowed me down from my dreams.
Even though I have this craving at a level 8 at night.
Even though I have this craving at a level 8 at night.
And my mouth wants it so bad.
And my mouth wants it so bad.
And kale just won't cut it.
And kale just won't cut it.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I'm pretty cool.
I'm pretty cool.
I'm very powerful.
I'm very powerful.
I'm an amazing human being.
I'm an amazing human being.
What if I could let go of this craving?
What if I could let go of this craving?
And not have to fight it all the time.
And not have to fight it all the time.
Even when my decision-making coins are all gone.
Even when my decision-making coins are all gone.
When the bank's empty.
When the bank is empty.
Even then, I don't need to crave this candy anymore.
Even then, I don't need to crave this candy anymore.
So if you have in your mouth this feeling of craving, what would you rather have? Would you rather crave something else, or would you just rather not have a craving?
I would rather not have a craving.
Okay, because you don't need anything at that time, right? You've already had all your meals for the day. All right. What if I could let go of this craving entirely
What if I could let go of this craving entirely?
and craving anything
On craving anything
and choosing what I want from my heart
and choosing what I want from my heart
and my higher good?
and my entire good,
Because that's what I deserve.
because that's what I deserve.
I deserve to be happy
I deserve to be happy
and not in conflict with myself.
and not in conflict with myself.
Who would I be
Who would I be
if I didn't have to have this fight at night?
if I didn't have to have this fight at night?
What would my life look like if I didn't have to worry about having this fight with myself at night?
What would my life look like if I didn't have to have this fight at night with myself?
How much more fun could it be?
How much more fun could it be?
How much other stuff could I be getting done?
How much other stuff could I be getting done?
Including maybe meditation or relaxing,
Including meditation or relaxing
or just watching TV
or just watching TV
without fighting myself.
without fighting myself.
What if I can have that?
What if I can have that?
What if I can remember my own power every night?
What if I can remember my own power every night?
All right, so now we're going to go up to the eyebrow point. The points are the end of the eyebrow, but not quite the bridge of the nose. And then we're going to go to the outside of the eye, almost right on the edge, not out here at the temple, but right next to your eye. And then I'm going to tell them to you, but you can just reflect back. The next point is the cheekbone point, and then halfway between the bottom of your nose and the top of your lip, and then the indentation above your chin, and then your collarbone. And some people teach it to just tap with 2 fingers on the space on your collarbone that's 1 inch from the bottom of your collarbone. I take my hand and make a big L and do both collarbones all the way up. So we're sure to be getting the point and not having to go with. And I found this to be really effective because I also think that it's hitting another point further out on the chest that's actually beneficial, even though it's not part of the official EFT routine.
Okay.
So the next spot is underneath the armpit, about 4 inches down. And that's the official last spot of EFT for the official original recipe. But most practitioners have added the top of the head. Because we found that to be really effective. So why not do it, right? And for some people that have anger or frustration issues, there's another point that is down below your rib cage, just below your rib cage. And that's
like at the bottom of your ribs, the bottom ribs down here?
Yep, and even if you just hit, use your fingers that go all the way across right below your rib cage, you'll get it. So, yeah.
Like in the curve, not like all the way down the bottom.
Down toward the bottom, not up at the top. Yep, okay. Good. I'm like trying to touch your hands. Like
move those.
Doesn't work. So anyway, now we're going to tap the points. The main setup, what we were just doing, the official, I go out of the box. What I just did was way out of the box. But the official tapping is just, even though I have this craving, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So it's, even though I have this issue, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. But I take it a little further and start using the what if questions that we'll talk about, and I'll explain why those work, and the what would my life look like, and who could I be if, to change my fast brain function while I'm tapping, so that I'm integrating even more of my brain power with my tapping and nervous system relaxation.
Right.
So and follow the points. So we're going to say this craving I have in my mouth at a level 8.
This craving I have in my mouth at a level 8.
Outside of the eye, I love those sweets.
I love those sweets.
And they love me.
And they love me.
We have a wonderful relationship.
And we have a wonderful relationship.
But I reject them.
But I reject them.
And sometimes they reject me.
And they reject me.
Underneath the eyes, I would like to reject them with love.
I would like to reject them with love.
So that they don't feel bad.
So that they don't feel bad.
But, you know, we can continue our relationship as separate beings.
But we can continue our relationship. I didn't know how Candy was a being.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to add them to my being.
I don't need to add them to my being.
It's not helpful to me.
It's not helpful to me.
Underneath the nose, I'm so grateful that I had them my whole life when I needed them.
I'm so grateful I had them my whole life when I needed them.
Because everything I've done to this point has protected me.
Because everything I've done to this point has protected me.
And I know that because I'm sitting right here, right now.
And I know that because I'm sitting here, right now. Right here, right now.
And some of those things haven't been great choices as I look at them.
And some of those things haven't been great choices as I look at them.
But they've gotten me here.
But they've gotten me here.
And so I'm grateful.
And so I'm grateful.
And in this moment now,
and in this moment now,
I allow myself to choose something different.
I allow myself to choose something different.
10 point. I allow myself to have my own power.
I allow myself to have my own power.
To step out of my fast brain fear.
To step out of my fast brain fear.
That's been protecting me.
That's been protecting me.
Now I can have my own power.
Now I can have my own power.
I can be safe in my choice not to have sweets.
I can be safe in my choice not to have sweets.
What if I can even have fun not having sweets?
What if I can even have fun not having sweets?
Collarbone, what if I can have more confidence and more joy while not having sweets?
What if I can have more confidence and joy without having more sweets?
Without even thinking of them.
Without even thinking of them.
What if they don't even cross my mind anymore?
What if they don't even cross my mind anymore?
Because I don't need them to serve me anymore.
Because I don't need them to serve me anymore.
They used to serve me.
They used to serve me.
They calmed me down. They kept me safe.
They calmed me down. They kept me safe.
They made me feel loved.
They made me feel loved.
It was a wonderful relationship.
It was a wonderful relationship.
And I let it go now.
And I let it go now.
Because it's not the relationship I need now.
Because it's not the relationship I need now.
I let myself feel better about this now.
I let myself feel better about this now.
Underneath the armpit. What if I can feel better in my mouth?
What if I can feel better in my mouth?
About letting go of this need.
About letting go of this need.
Letting go of this desire.
Letting go of this desire.
For sweets.
For sweets.
What if I can let that go now?
What if I can let that go now?
What if it's safe to let that desire go now?
What if it's safe to let that desire go now?
That old habit.
That old habit.
What if I can let it all go?
What if I can let it all go?
And just have fun.
And just have fun.
Because I'm allowed to do that.
Because I'm allowed to do that.
I get to choose that if I want to.
I get to choose that if I want to.
That's my opportunity to decide.
That's my opportunity to decide.
I choose that now.
I choose that now.
I go back to the point of creation of the first time that sweets were the answer.
I go back to the first time that sweets were the answer.
And that feeling settled in my mouth of knowing that's what I needed.
And that feeling settled in my mouth of knowing that's what I needed.
All the way back to the beginning, the first time, the second time that I used sweets to make me feel better.
All the way back to the beginning, the first time, the second time that I used sweets to make me feel better.
And I dissolve it.
And I dissolve it.
I don't need it anymore.
I don't need it anymore.
I choose something new in its place.
I choose something new in its place.
I choose confidence.
I choose confidence.
And strength.
And strength.
And joy.
And joy.
And being all me.
And being all me.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
I allow it.
I allow it.
I choose it.
I choose it.
I expect it.
I expect it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
I demand it.
I demand it.
I command it.
I command it.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so I am.
And so I am.
And I release that need completely.
And I release that need completely.
Now take a great big heavy breath. And then you just look at it again. And again, we're just imagining how you'd feel tonight. And you would say, I feel the need for sweets, and see if you still get that at a level 8 in your mouth.
I feel the need for sweets. Like right now, do I get that? I'll see tonight if I get that.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Say it again.
Are you saying I should say that tonight to see if I get that feeling?
Right. Yes.
Right.
Try it tonight and see if it happens, and then see if you still get it in your mouth. What happens with tapping is usually there's more than one source of it. So there are different aspects, different faces of the same issue. And this is just one face of it that we've just tapped through. So tonight you'll identify it. You'll see if it still shows up in your mouth, or maybe it shows up in your jaw, or maybe it shows up in your throat or the top of your head. Or some people get like a clench in their belly because it's the self-doubt or fear, or you know, and it's a belly thing. Right. A lot of people get tight jaws when they say the thing that they are hoping to release, and you just keep chasing it, do round after round, until you feel just peace in your body.
Right.
And sometimes it happens after one round, and sometimes it happens after 5 or 6 or 10 rounds. It all depends on who you are and what it is that you're tapping on. So, right. Yeah.
Quick question. So when I'm tapping on these different areas, what is like actually happening while you're tapping?
You're tapping the meridian points. You're tapping the energy lines in your body that are where, you know, we're all made out of energy, right? We're all made out of energy of cells that have decided to hang out together and call me Jen. But they could just as easily have decided to be the wall behind me, because we're all just a bunch of atoms, right, hanging out together. And those atoms are, the energy flows through those atoms, molecules, whatever. I'm really bad at using the right language, so forgive me if I'm using the wrong science terms. Okay. But energy flows through the meridians. And what happens is the first time that you chose to use sweets as a solution, and I think that all of us, I have to say that, well, no, that's not true. I had one person who never was interested in sweets, like one.
It's a strong.
Yeah. Okay. That the first time that you felt a something in your life that caused you stress, your energy went a little out of line, or you had a big trauma and it went way out of line. And that's what causes PTSD and things like that, is your energy is not flowing properly through your body anymore. And that's why tapping has been shown to be so incredibly helpful for PTSD and for trauma relief, because it helps bring things back into smooth flow. And nice. It just makes life a lot easier.
Wow, that is fantastic. So as somebody's watching this video, watching this interview, and could they be going through the same thing that we're going through, but saying different words, or replacing sweets for whatever it is that they're struggling with? Well, it's carbohydrates, it could be a different type of food. Or what if it were a different, it was a feeling they were trying. What if they were trying to get rid of PTSD or anxiety? A lot of women deal with anxiety. I deal with anxiety. And they're trying to say, okay, I get anxious every night. I wake up at night with anxiety. Could you do the same type of thing, or would it be a different meridians that you're going to tap on?
You can do the same thing. It's always, even though I have this issue and put that issue right there, that anxiety issue. Right. And for anxiety, it, again, as we know, has many faces.
Right.
But you can choose the feeling in your body. That's the most important thing, is which feeling in your body about the anxiety is your concern. Is it your rapid heart rate? Is it your, inability to think clearly? Whatever. Right. choose one at a time and tap through that. So even though I have even though my heart is racing, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And it's very simple to use the very basic recipe, and you can get that off EFTuniverse.com. There's a free manual you can download to get the whole gist. You can also go to my Facebook page and tap along with some of my videos. There are literally thousands of videos you can tap along with. And I'm going to give a little plug for another organization, tappingsolutions.com actually has an app now that you can just tap in what your concern is, and it'll give you a tapping script to tap along with.
Wow.
So,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
exactly. It's a huge gift. And you can have the free version or the paid version. And I am an affiliate, but I don't have an affiliate link because I never really figured out how to do that.
Figure it out.
So I just love what they do, and I think more people would really benefit from just picking up the Tapping Solution app. And if everybody did it once a day, we would have a lot calmer world than
the world's not very calm. The world is not calm.
Yeah.
Right now. So that's good. By the way, I just wanted to say anything that we mentioned with during this interview, like things like this, and I'm going to have some links to some awesome things that Jen is going to be offering. They will be in the comments. So, and if this is you're seeing it in the blog post, it will be in my blog post or on YouTube, wherever you find this video, we'll have the link ready for you.
Yeah, and another way to use it for fitness is when people have trouble stretching. My mom, when I used to I have a happy landings program that I was teaching her, and she could never reach her toes. And it really hurt her when we would like do the together stretch where we put our feet together and hold hands and pull each other forward a little bit. And she'd like scream with the tiniest little bit. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So we tapped, and then she could reach out and touch her toes. And with one round of tapping, you can deeply relax your muscles so that you can then stretch a little further without damaging your muscles. So it's a really great, yeah.
I can see how, so I'm thinking, so when I'm working with people with stretching, you guys all know, we talk about different stretches that you have to go into, making sure you hold for at least 30 minutes to release the muscle and get into the ends, the plasticity in the ends of the muscle. We talk about foam rolling to get rid of the knots, and all of this takes time to do that. So by just tapping on different meridians, so the meridians, it's along the nerve path that we're talking about, correct?
Right.
Right. So when I'm talking about the physical part of stretching and foam rolling, I'm talking about the fascia, which is a sheath that covers your muscles. So it's very different ways to working on this. So that would be very interesting to see people do that, because as we get older, we get very, very tight, and that can be difficult.
Right.
So that's really cool. But so a lot of problems, I think, that women have with weight loss is, it might just not be the sweet, but it might be more around limiting beliefs about themselves. It's just that they've tried 10 diets, they've tried 30 diets over the years, and they're thinking, this is impossible. I'm over 50. I've already tried all these diets. There's no way this isn't going to work. It's not going to work for me. So they're starting with the attitude that they cannot do it, that there's no way they can do it. Then I tell them they don't get results that way unless I can start helping them shift those limiting beliefs into beliefs of, yes, I can do this. And that's why we start with small habits so that they can start getting some wins. So how can EFT help them make this an easier process?
Well, actually, that's where I spent most of my time. Actually, it's where I still spend most of my time, is on my emotional blocks more than on my physical blocks. And I think about the first one you said, I think, was this one will never work for me because I've tried everything, right? So you say that sentence and you see where it feels in your body while you say the sentence. If you say something that you don't want to believe, but you know it's something that's stopping you, or a really big one with weight loss is that it's not safe to lose weight. It's not safe to be lighter than I am. And there are different reasons for that. Sometimes it is that at a certain weight, something happened. So you get kind of stuck at that weight. Or something happened at a lesser weight, so you gained weight so that you're never at that again.
Right.
Because your body gets stuck in that memory and says it's not safe to be that size because that happens at that size.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but just while you're talking about this, and for anybody watching, there's a lot of this happening that because I will ask clients when they first meet with me for our strategy session, I'll say, what is the benefit to you not losing weight? What's the benefit for you staying at this weight? And they'll say, well, there's no benefit. It's like, if you think about it, there is. There's a reason you're at the weight you're at. Something is keeping you there, and it makes you feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of unawareness around what that might be. Can tapping help bring awareness to an issue, or do you need to come to it already aware of what the issue is?
If you come to it already aware of what the issue is, it goes much faster. So if the issue, like for me, it took me a long time to figure out why I was stuck at a certain weight. And it's because that was the weight that I got pregnant with my second child, and I lost that child. So I couldn't let myself get back down to there, because what if I get pregnant and go through that again? Right. And it took me a long time to realize that's what it was. And then to tap through that and be able to say this, it was 15, 18 years ago. But for a long time, I still cried every time I said it. So that was one of the things that I had to move through, was I can get back down to that weight and not get pregnant and not have that trauma. But my body didn't believe that for a while. So all you do is you find where it is in your body. So if I work with a lot of people who have had sexual trauma. And so we say, even though this happened, we identify it. I say, okay, where in your body are you holding it? And we start from a really, really far away place. We start by seeing it. We're like at a drive-in movie theater, and it's way, way up on the screen in black and white with no sound. And we say, okay, exactly. So it's like this thing that's happening way over there. And then we move closer and closer to it as we take the charge off of it with the tapping. So we start with, even though there's this thing that happened a long, long time ago in a land far away, I feel it and then, I feel it in my shoulder, I feel it in my pinky, wherever they're feeling it when they think about it. We clear that feeling, and then we take a step closer, and then we go a mile closer, and then we go, always in a safe way toward whatever it is.
Oh, that is fantastic. That's wonderful. So many people need this.
I know.
There's a lot of different ways it looks like that you can help women with weight loss with this, because I'm telling you guys, a lot of your struggles with trying to lose weight come from limiting beliefs and blocks that you have. Not just that it's not safe for you to lose weight, or that you've tried everything and nothing is going to work for you. I don't have the time, the resistance that you give yourself. I don't have time to exercise. Everybody else needs me right now. I'm going to be selfish if I try to lose weight. These are the things that you need to start focusing on and dealing with before you can even get to, well, how much protein should I have? How many carbs do I need to have? You can do it at the same time, but it's really important you deal with this part of it. This is it's huge.
Right, and that's actually where what if questions come in really well too, for those easier things, not the deeper trauma work, but what if I have time? What if there's time in my day that I'm not seeing yet? Right. And then your fast brain starts looking for those answers. And then if you tap in, what if I have time? Then your whole body starts seeking the time.
Oh, nice.
And pointing out to you, you'll suddenly start noticing, oh, I'm standing in line. I could be doing, even just arm something. You know what I mean? Your brain's like, oh, we could use this time. And it just starts nudging you differently than it nudged you before.
Everybody's doing that one. Everybody work on that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you had mentioned, what is the results-oriented inquiry?
Okay, that's the what if process.
Oh,
You
all
think
right.
about the result that you want. You want to feel like you have time. You think of the result that you want, that you found a way to fit everything into your day. So that's the result that you want. And then you ask questions to instill doubt in your mind, because right now you fully believe you have no time. And if your belief at a core level is you have no time to change your patterns, then you can't change your patterns.
Wow.
You can't butt up against a core belief because it makes it stronger. It's like doing resistance exercises, right? It
Okay.
makes you stronger. So if
Right.
you resist what you already believe, then it will make that belief stronger instead of what you want.
So that
So you
resistance
focus
is
on,
bringing energy to it.
what's it
That
again?
the resistance that you have, that's bringing like a focused energy on to that limiting belief.
Right. So you start, instead of saying, I don't have enough time. Yes, you do. You can find time. Your brain just will completely fight that until you start instilling doubt. What if I'm wrong and I do have time?
Right.
And as soon as you instill doubt about a core belief, whether it's a what if question of what would my life look like, it doesn't even have to be that. It could even be just other people have time. Maybe I could have time,
Right.
so that's another way. I find that the what if and what would it look like and who would I be if I had more time questions move things faster.
Right.
And they give a formula to work with instead of having to come up with some way of instilling doubt.
Right.
But once you instill doubt, then you can start creating different neural pathways so that you can start believing the new thing. And that's why I tap while also doing the what if questions, so that it's instilling the new belief and making my nervous system feel safe with that new belief. Because the first thing that happens is your nervous
It's a much
system.
gentler approach. It's
Yeah.
more welcoming, right? To be asking that way.
Right.
So, and is the focus of your program, the results inquiry?
Yeah, for the ROI program, I first usually teach in an hour and a half workshop. I teach how the brain works, why the fast brain is so important to how we get our information. Because if the fast brain doesn't agree, we never get the information. It just doesn't exist to us. It gets chopped off before it gets to our executive function. We don't even see it.
Great.
So if we have to change our fast brain to allow new information to actually be given to our brain that we use to make decisions.
Wow. This is so helpful in so many areas.
Yeah. So
it's incredible. My mind spinning, go, wow, this. Wow, there's so many things.
Yeah. So the first part of the program is teaching the science behind the brain, and then teaching how to instill doubt and create new associations with the new ideas. And then I teach the tapping to help people then use it with their nervous system and bring it all together. And we usually do it focused on some topic that group all wants help with, unless I'm doing an individual session, in which case we're just trying to figure out that one person's need. But I'm teaching it live next Tuesday night, the full class with all the sciencey stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. So now, is this an online course that you teach?
Yeah, it's an online class.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And when is that going to be?
Say it again?
I'm sorry, when will that be?
It's October 1st, I think at 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm not sure. I have to look at my schedule, but it's Tuesday night anyway, Tuesday night, October 1st. And I'm doing it at a very reduced rate. I'm only asking for $5 for the actual class. And if you want the card, then it's the normal online cost for the cards. And the cards are just the what if questions with pictures. So
awesome.
So like this one is, what if I am enough? And what if you are too? So it's just questions that you can ask yourself. You don't, and there are things that I struggled with, and that's where most of the questions came from. And then also some things like Brene Brown's teaching.
I have to move a little bit. I just realized my computer is going to die. So keep talking while I go get my charger.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to take a little tour through my home. So excuse the bad lighting while I move about here, guys. I will get everything set up.
So if anybody's curious to go deeper and actually understand the science behind it and bring a certain question to that class, like I said, it's only $5 for one person to attend. And then if you want to buy the cards, then it's $30 because the cost of the cards and mailing them. So just if you want to learn more and understand the science behind it, I'm doing it really low cost this time because I'm testing teaching it online. I usually do live workshops out in the world. So I'm trying it this way. And so that's why
I think that's a no-brainer, everybody. I mean, you need, I may go do that myself and make sure I'm going to be free that day. Is there a replay to it in case people couldn't make it free?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, awesome. We will definitely have that link is that the link for the upcoming online class on facebook.com, What If Wellness?
Yeah, What If Wellness. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Awesome.
There's already an event for it on my business page.
Oh, okay, great. So I can even just grab the link of that and we'll get that in here because that's
okay, great.
That sounds like a wonderful opportunity for only $5.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, you really made it easy for people to learn and grow with that. This is so important. This is wonderful. So let me see what other questions I had for you. So you just talked about the cards. And we did a demo about it. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your program?
I guess the other thing is if you have any activists in your group, and if they are in Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, someplace in this general region, I am creating an RLI program combined with forest therapy for activists. We're creating a program for people who are trying to figure out how to move forward, changing the world, and need new ideas. So I'm going to teach the tapping and the stuff I talked about, the brain training stuff. And then we're going to go with my friend who's a forest therapy guide out into the woods and have her help people find answers from nature's solutions, basically. So
that's fascinating. That really sounds fascinating.
Yeah. So if there are any activists, and it's any issue, and either side of the issue, because I believe that if we all really focus on the world that we want, even though you have people who are very polarized right now, I think that the world that we really want is pretty similar. And if we all open our brains and our hearts, I think that we're going to start finding solutions that take us there.
I know people really are divided.
Right, exactly.
It'd be nice if we weren't, but
right.
And, just to open up the communication so that everybody could talk, that would be great. So activists, definitely guide people towards you and setting that up. See so many different areas that everybody can work on. I think everybody learned quite a bit. I mean, you just had a free demo of how to even start working on this yourself. And Jen has a class coming up online for only $5 that you can do. And your other programs that you work with groups and you work one-on-one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
So
awesome.
One-on-one, if you go to my website, you can sign up for a session on my calendar there.
How many sessions do people usually go through?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How many sessions do people typically go through when they're working one-on-one with you?
How many sessions does it usually take? Usually one. Sometimes two, maybe three, depending on how big their issue is and how usually people feel empowered to continue the work on their own. And then they might call me in 6 months and say, okay, I'm stuck again. and come back and do some more work. So most of my clients switch from being one-on-one to joining my group trainings and learning more information so that they can then just keep growing on their own. And I love that. I when I was a grant writer, my goal was always to solve the problem that we were writing the grant about, so we never have to ask for money again. And that's how I feel about my work. I want to empower people so that they can come to me for an hour session, clear whatever it is, or hour and a half usually for the first session, clear whatever it is that's the most pressing, hardest thing that they're dealing with, because that's what we want to get rid of first.
Right.
And then they can use the process on their own. I give a recording so that they can keep tapping with the same process later. And usually that's very effective. I have, I have somebody who just bought a quarterly package, so she's coming to me once every 3 months.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's to support her other work that she's already doing. So it's not, you don't become dependent on me, which is what I really like, partially because I have no memory. So so it's really great when I don't have to remember all your details from session to session. And I usually just go, it's fully from the heart. It's all led by you, and with me holding you up and helping you cross your own bridges, basically.
So you're providing the space for people and guiding them. Yeah. That is wonderful.
Yeah, and for the anxiety, we work on creating an anchor, and that has been really effective for people to create a safe place inside of themselves, so that when they start feeling the fear or the heart rate or whatever start bubbling up, they remember that they have a safe place, and they literally just go grab that anchor, and it changes their physiology and helps them come back to the moment. And we tap that anchor in very deeply so that they can access it quickly. It's not just an idea.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic. And I know a lot of women, and I'm even hearing it a little bit more with men as well. I don't hear it as much with men, but a lot of women deal with anxiety.
Right.
I mean, a high percentage of people I work with also talk about dealing with anxiety. It's prevalent. I think part of it is our society, because we're in a society where things are so fast paced, and there's just no time, no downtime. There's no time to regenerate yourself, rejuvenate, and there's just lots of stress in our world. But you can get rid of all of it. All right, so Jen, this was
not enough connection, and the connection is what lowers that stress.
Right.
We just don't have time for it. We don't know how to do it anymore. It's just
right. We don't believe we have time for it, and just in a lack of, and I'm not trying to get religious, but a lack of spirituality, and trying to get connected to spirit or energy within, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, that power in the universe. I think a lot of people feel a disconnect and unable to connect with it so that they can feel more grounded. So I think, being able to do that is huge. Very good. So this was so enlightening, and I thank you very much for spending your time here. I am going to, as soon as we end this, I'll be adding links in the comments for your wellness, your upcoming online class, and your online course that you have. I'll be putting links in for both of those. And if there's anything else, go in there.
About that.
Yes, don't forget you have an upcoming course coming, right? So your online course, if you want to just describe what the online course is a little bit, and we'll put that in there too.
Yep. Alrighty. Thank you so much. I appreciate having the time to share this with you, and having new people get to learn something that might help them in their day-to-day life.
Yes, and everybody, if you have any questions, if you're watching this afterwards, if you have any questions, pop them in here, because Jen will get tagged, tag her in that. And if she doesn't see it, I see it, and I'll let her know, and she will definitely come back and answer any questions that you have.
Great.
All right, so that is it. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and we will see you soon.
Thanks so much.